When you clearly don't work somewhere, but people seem to think you do. Welcome to this episode of I Don't Work Here, Lady. Our first tale is from DNA BSUH1. This happened last week after my son's soccer practice. I just had a few minutes between finishing work and having to drive my son, 10 male, to soccer. So I did what I normally do and grabbed the first shirt off the top of the pile in the drawer and put it on, without a second thought. I work from home, so I haven't shaved for a few days, so I did look a bit grungy. At the same time, my wife had laid out my son's clothes for soccer, including a bright yellow soccer shirt with the appropriate overpriced logo on it. It wasn't until some of the other parents at the practice started teasing me that we were shirt twins that I realized the shirt I was wearing was also bright yellow, sans logo. So we laughed, the kids practiced, and it was all good. During practice, my wife messaged me and asked if we could pick up some groceries, milk, bread, so we drove over to the local grocery store. A typical day. When we got to the store, the closest parking spot had a few carts in it, so my son helpfully got out to move the carts while I pulled in. He pushed the few to the return area nearby and kept one for us. Again, a typical boring day getting groceries. As I got out and grabbed the cart my son left for me, and he came back, some woman parked next to us and was putting her groceries in her SUV, and we heard her say something like, "I'm done with my cart!" But of course we didn't pay attention. About 30 seconds later, we heard metal scraping on metal and turned to see the lady backed into the cart she left behind her SUV. As we started chuckling, she got out of the car and started yelling at my son that he was supposed to take the cart, and now he has to pay for the damages because he didn't do his job. My son wavered between laughing, crying, and running because it was funny, but he is shy and didn't know what to do. She then started in on me and said my employee didn't take the cart, as others, including the cart people with the bright orange vest, started coming around to try to understand what was happening. Avoiding cursing in front of my son, I told her to shut up. He obviously doesn't work there since 1, he's wearing a soccer uniform with a giant swoosh on the front, and 2, he's a 10-year-old kid. She then started saying I should have moved the cart since obviously my yellow shirt meant I worked there, and the crowd of 5 or 6 people who formed started laughing at her. The cart guy walked up to her and told her he needed her to come into the store to talk to the manager because of the damages, and that he'll make sure we will be taken care of. We checked that there was no damage to our car and got the groceries, and when we were checking out, a cashier ushered us to a new lane that had no lines so we could get out quickly, while the lady was still heard arguing with the manager about insurance. I definitely could believe there are brain-dead people out there that just assume they make a simple statement and whoever they're making said statement to is supposed to receive and accept it without even thinking, and you would think that if she saw nobody coming to collect the cart, or, I don't know, maybe look behind your fucking car, you'd see the cart and you would have avoided this entire situation. This next tale is by Attitude Lord. I'm an electrician. I was working in a grocery store replacing all 1,956 fluorescent light bulbs with LED bulbs. I was packing a cart of old bulbs to the back to dispose of them, and as I walked, I heard, "Hey you!" I ignored it till I heard it again. I turned to look around and heard her say, "Yeah, you!" And the Karen stormed up to me. "Pick that up!" she demanded while pointing at an ice cream container broken on the ground, her voice full of entitlement. "I don't work here," I said, thinking that would explain everything. "Well then, what are you doing here?" she demanded, irritated that I dared to contradict her. "I'm changing light bulbs," I said, wondering what her problem was. She grabbed my shoulder and brought her face an inch from mine and growled, "That means you work here, so clean it up." I then realized I was dealing with a crazy person, so I just said okay to make her leave me alone. An actual worker at the store saw the whole thing and waved me off and cleaned it, while I went on with my day. The whole experience was weird. Yeah, because all stores have their own internal maintenance, things like that, when in reality, a job like that, a lot of places go with a lighting company, so, being a lighting company, not directly affiliated with the store, definitely don't work there, but Karens don't get that. And our final tale is from Vegan Daddy-O. I was shopping in an outdoor store after work one afternoon. The workers at this place are pretty decked out in vests with radios attached to them and outdoor wear underneath, so their uniforms are pretty distinctive. I'm a nurse, so I was wearing my scrubs from earlier in the day. I was looking at the clearance rack when some guy came up and asked me, "Excuse me, where do y'all keep the winter jackets?" And I responded, "Over there, but I don't work here." The guy stopped and looked at my scrubs and said, "I don't know how I could have been this stupid." Just then, another guy started howling with laughter behind the rack we were next to. He came around with tears in his eyes, cracking up and said, "That was the funniest shit I've ever heard," and kept laughing. Eventually, his laughter spread to me and the other guy, and 3 of us were just laughing uncontrollably in the middle of the store. Pretty great moments, if you ask me. I feel like a lot of great moments in life are when people can acknowledge they fuck up and just laugh about it instead of being stick up their ass serious about it. Unfortunately, when it comes to like Karens and things like that, they're always right. Even when they're blatantly wrong, you could show the proof in front of them. So seeing something like this and the person not arguing the fact, just absolutely wholesome. Alright, that's enough stories for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of I Don't Work Here, Lady. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons, have a great day and stay safe out there.